Yeah, let's move to the fundamentals because, obviously that will, continue to change. But, this was, downside surprise, as in, less inflation than we were worried about. Again, it's probably early for some of this tariff news to seep into inflation. But we were worried about a reaccelerating economy. Are we going to be able? I mean, there's been talk of maybe we're going to have to hike the Fed funds rate this year to be able to get inflation in check. No data to support that at this meeting. If anything.
Yeah. I think that we mentioned egg prices. Egg prices dipped. They went down by like 12.7%, which is the most they've ever gone away. But I will repeat what I've said it before, say again. Egg prices are the result of industry-specific factors and are not an accurate measure of inflation.
I think people have heard you loud and
clear. I want
to
put clap emojis between every word so that they're not a factor of inflation. It's all the bird flu, but they're fun to talk about. If everyone's going to talk about egg prices, then sure, I'll keep following.
But what about this shelter, Matt?
Shelter looks like, and I put it in my notes.
It's going down, but it's still positive.
Yeah, and that the numbers for shelter were the same as the numbers for rent of primary residence. I think we're approaching a point where we can't rely on the lagging rent growth decline to be a factor that is disinflationary. I think that we're about that time where things are pretty much reverting to the mean. I may eat my words later, but it does seem like shelter is going to be less of this outsized inflationary factor. However, it was the biggest factor in inflation this past month. So it's not going away. It's just like at normal while everything else is slightly reduced.
And that does make a little sense. I mean, earlier in the year, again, we have seasonality. We talk about this a lot. There is more rent growth. But again, that doesn't make sense for this print of shelter because it's lagging. It's not necessarily, we're not picking up all of the new leases that were signed. We're looking at all of the leases that have been signed or approximation of that.
It's interesting. I just heard in some of the podcasts and news that's following rents, I just heard someone actually acknowledge that rents are going down in Austin. Oh yeah, they actually are. So it has been this narrative for the past 5 years, and really largely even before then, that rents are going up. This is this huge thing. Rents are, but like noticeably there has been a lot of apartment building in the past 3 years, and rents have gone down as a result of it. And it's good to know that at least in like the conversation, like the discourse of housing shortage, that people are acknowledging the rents. So hopefully they're getting the picture that the more you build, the lower the rents go. But
yeah, I think we've got a lot of really good data to support that. And it's the only solution is just to build more supply of all kinds of housing all over the place where it is needed.